Amy Wells, and you're watching Mr. Titan. Tighten up.
Ladies and gentlemen, Titan Nation, welcome back. Today's special guest, I have NFL veteran, Super Bowl 47 champion, the Bone Crusher, the Patriot Killer. We got Bernard Pollard. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. How you doing, babe?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Again, those nicknames, those are some intense nicknames you got there, bud.
Hey, man. I guess I earned them. So I'll take them. except for Patriot Killer.
Yeah, I understand. I understand that completely, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Again, it's not your fault, but at the same time, hey, it is what it is. I mean, you played really tough, and that's what they named you, man.
That's cool. I'll take it.
Definitely. Again, big fan. Thank you for coming on and spending a little bit of time talking about your career. I mean, your career started in Purdue. That's where you got the nickname Bone Crusher, right? I mean, the good old days, right? You miss college. You still watch college football or not so much anymore?
You know what? So it's crazy. So I do. I watch college ball. I see a lot of what's going on. It's like a lot of jig rig offenses, jig rig defenses. So I watch it. It's predictable to me.
Okay.
But I stick to a lot of NFL ball simply because the strategy, the battle between the offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, the strategy and the battle from the professional athletes, because it's the closest thing to perfect as you will see. So It's pretty cool to watch NFL ball. But I will dabble a little bit in college ball.
Okay. And definitely you were drafted in 2006 by the Kansas City Chiefs. You played a little bit of time there. Then you played in Houston, which I'm not a Houston fan, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's your career. And Then you went with the Ravens where, Super Bowl 47, you won a chip. You played alongside one of the greats, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis. I mean, you had a squad, man. That was a really good squad. It was nasty on defense. That team was. I remember in Miami watching that Super Bowl, and again, I was going for the Ravens because I didn't really care for the 49ers. But we'll dive into that as well about your Super Bowl experience, and then of course you played with the Titans, and obviously we're gonna talk a little bit more about that, as you probably know just because of the background, but all these teams, right? You played for several teams. What was the difference playing with each team? Because I talked to a couple players before, and they, talked about the locker room, the difference between management and stuff like that. Again, you played with the Titans. And the Titans were, let's be honest, they were okay. They weren't the greatest team, though.
Awful.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. They were pretty rough.
Yeah.
But go ahead and just acknowledge people about your experiences in the NFL and different teams.
Well, I think the biggest thing, and forgive me, I'm over here I've been running all day, and then I got out the shower sweating. So, but no, so, playing in the National Football League, man, it was truly a blessing for me. I learned so much from every single team. I think, playing with the Kansas City Chiefs, I was on a team full of veterans, Patrick Surtain, Sammy Knight, Trent Green, Larry Johnson, Tony Gonzalez, Eddie Kennison. So just learning from dudes like that, I was able to kind of figure out the game. Greg Wesley was a dude that took me under his wing. Derek Johnson, we all just, so learning from them cats helped me. And that kind of built a foundation. And of course, my head coach was Herm Edwards. So you can't go wrong with that. Who's a defensive-minded coach, a DB guy. And so he kind of helped me. He kind of helped me be who I am. today. Greg Gibbs. Coach Gibbs was my mentor, was my DB coach who took me under his wing. And then, after they fired the entire staff in Kansas City, he ended up going to Houston. So that's how I ended up in Houston, because I requested my release to go to Houston. So I went to Houston with Coach Gibbs, and once again, it was awesome because I knew the playbook. I knew what was going on. I knew what Coach Gibbs expected and wanted of us out of a safety and a veteran leader. So my time there in Houston was awesome. But, obviously with the teams, looking at the AFC South, I think Indianapolis was running it with Peyton Manning. But getting the opportunity to play there with the guys there was just truly a learning experience for me. But I think being in Houston kind of helped, I think I kind of helped launch my leadership role, if I would say, because I was the oldest guy at 5 years in Houston. So that launched me into that role. And, from there on, going to Baltimore, which I was actually, to be honest with you, it was kind of crazy because being in Baltimore, I was afraid that my attitude would clash with Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Haloti Ngata, Terrell Suggs, dudes like that. But it was almost like I was a perfect fit, So going to Baltimore after the lockout was awesome because I was able to just step right in. I played with 10 other dudes on the defensive side of the ball who thought just like me. We all were fight first, have each other's back, dominate the line of scrimmage, dominate our opponent, and do whatever it takes to get the victory. And literally being in Baltimore was perfect for me. So being there was it was awesome. Obviously with Coach Harbaugh blowing that team up after we won a Super Bowl. And I tell so many people all the time, when a head coach wins a Super Bowl, he unlocks a power that he didn't have before. And that's control. That's more control either over the roster, decisions in draft, decisions on bringing in free agents. So he was able to unlock that role and kind of take something from Ozzie that Ozzie was doing as far as creating a roster. And he wanted to create his roster. Gotcha. Because the roster that was there was Ozzie's roster. So, when he blew that roster up, man, and blew that team up, and myself coming to Tennessee, Ed going to Houston, Anquan going to San Francisco, Kruger going to the Browns, Haloti, just so many dudes, Kerry going to Philly. That right there, man, it was heartbreaking because we knew, we all believed we were going to win another 2 or 3. And I had just renegotiated a 3-year deal in Baltimore. So when that happened, man, when I came to Tennessee, for me, just winning the Super Bowl, I wanted to be closer to home. Being from Indiana, I wanted to be closer where my family can come and travel and see me play. So, I had a contract on the table, deal on the table with the Indianapolis Colts, but the Baltimore Ravens, because of that split up and because Harbaugh and I clashed, he held my rights. And so I wasn't able to sign with the Colts because he would not release my papers for me to be a free agent. So after Indianapolis, that fell apart, they ended up signing another safety. I ended up coming to Tennessee. And I think one of the craziest things with me coming to Tennessee, it was good because I was closer to family, but then at the same time, I was still in that leadership role, but I was with a lot of guys who've never won, who've never been led before. A leader to a lot of that locker room was guys that partied with them, guys that let them get away with, being, knuckleheads in the locker room, knuckleheads on the field, coming to practice drunk, doing different things like that. Like that was leadership, when I came to Tennessee. And so, they bucked against myself or, Delaney and I, when we both came in, because we both came in competing against each other in the Super Bowl. And now when we step in, you got 2 guys, we're saying, okay, no, this is what winning culture looks like. Mm-hmm. This is what practice looks like. This is what, taking care of your body looks like. And the guys here was just looking like, nah, bro, like, we doing this and we doing that. We do it our way. If we lose, so what? We go into games, we'll fight for a little bit, but once we face a little bit of adversity, we throwing in a white tie. Gotcha. And so, that was the hard thing for me, being here. But, it was truly a blessing because I still have guys that I still rock with to this day, Jason McCourty, Michael Griffin, guys like that, man, Michael Roos, man. So being with those cats, man, is just, it was cool because, Nate Washington, we have friendships and we communicate, but I think, I personally felt like the city of Nashville deserves better. And that's why when I requested my release, I didn't want to be with another rookie quarterback, which they were, going to take Marcus Mariota. Yep. I didn't want to be under a rookie quarterback. I wanted to win. I wanted to be out. I was tired. I was fed up. Yeah. And here we are today.
Oh, man. Again, I support anyone who puts the two-tone blue on, man. Again, I love watching you play regardless of what team it was. I mean, I was a big fan of your knowledge and your nose for the ball, man. It was awesome. But again, I also loved it when you were, with Tennessee, of course. But yeah. A quick question about your Super Bowl run, because again, I've never talked to an actual football player who's won the championship. Can you explain to me how that feeling is, that game, throughout the whole game? Maybe that lead up to the Super Bowl and just winning it all, man. How was that feeling? Because a lot of people, again, they have little bits and pieces that they remember. They don't remember the whole thing, but they do remember a couple of emotions. I was just curious.
I think one of the biggest things, man, is winning the Super Bowl. And I said this before, winning the Super Bowl was never my dream.
Okay.
I played football because I wanted to stay away from home. Me and my dad would fight after every Friday night game. It was literally a brawl in the living room. I played football to practice. I went to practice because I didn't want to go back to the house. So football was really never, I just did it because I was good at it and did it to stay away. So I knew I was good coming around my sophomore year. I was getting scholarship offers, getting people talking to me, colleges talking to me. And so I was just like, okay, well, in order for me to stay away from home again, like I'll just go to college and play football. And so I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna go to college, if they're paying, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna be there 3 years and I'm gonna declare as a junior. It was never a moment of where I doubted that I would start as a true freshman. I never doubted it. So starting as a true freshman, playing 3 years, and then get to the National Football League, I was just like, oh, I'm just getting paid to play, and when the time is up, I'll be done. Mm-hmm. So, as you know, there are guys that have come into this league that have never won 10 games, guys that have never won 5 games, guys that have never been off the practice squad, guys that have never been to the playoffs, guys that have never been to the Super Bowl, guys that have been to the Super Bowl and didn't win. And so now for me, I've won 10 games. I've been to the playoffs. I've won the Super Bowl. And so now it's just like, wow, like I literally thankful to God that I've been put in a position to where I can say I am a champion, a Super Bowl champion. I have labels. People can say whatever they want to say, but one thing they can't say is Bernard didn't put it all out there, on the football field. I left it on the field. And so, once again, I just never ever imagined being a Super Bowl champion. And I'll be honest with you, man. Like I've never worn my Super Bowl ring. No, I never wore it. I never will probably ever wear it. It doesn't even fit my finger. I got it like a size or 2 up because I was just like, I just don't want to be defined as a football player.
I understand what you're saying, man.
And so it's just like, I played the game. I played the game hard. I take pride. I was a player. I knocked the hell out of you, right? I take pride in that. Everybody can say I didn't play this game to be the best. I didn't play this game to go to the Hall of Fame. I played this game because I was good at it, and I grew to love it. And so now for me, it's just to the point where this is what I did. Now, the real world, is everything what I'm doing now. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Well, definitely. And again, a lot of football players, because they identify themselves as just being football players. So once they get out of the league, it's very hard to kind of find themselves. And most of them get lost and stuff, and they go through depression and stuff like that. And again, I'm glad you're doing good. Didn't you establish your own foundation, right? The Helping Hands, man.
Yeah, so we have Pollard's Helping Hands. So we go in to communities. We step into schools, and we feed underprivileged kids, families, providing them with groceries, clothes, whatever it may be. But this is what we're called to do. We are called to help. I don't care what you look like: black, brown, white, cream, blue, purple. We're called to help. We're called to be a light in dark places. Especially. And so that's what I take pride in, man. So doing that with our foundation, training right now, what I do as far as training, grade school to middle school to high school to college and pro guys. I enjoy that because who am I to to hold back my knowledge or the things that I've learned through high school, through college, through pro? Who am I to hold that back from this generation who's trying to make it, to that less than 1%? So, that's what I'm doing now, man, and I'm loving every bit of it.
Hey, man, that is awesome. Again, I appreciate everything you do, especially people. That's awesome, especially the whole the foundation and stuff. I mean, there needs to be more out there like that, 'cause especially now, times are rough, man. Times are crazy out there, and you know what? Oh, but what? Now you serious, man? You just put the glasses on.
I'm trying not to get a headache, man. Like my glasses helping me out.
Oh, my bad. Is it my voice? Am I talking too much? Bro, I could look.
No. Hey, the glasses help me. I get migraines real bad, so it's like my glasses kind of help looking off that screen because I'm on the computer all day watching film, doing all kinds of different stuff. So yeah,
I get you. All right, well. All right, let's talk about the nicknames, man. The NFL nickname. This one's really good because, I mean, again, like you said, you're a really nice guy. Obviously, you didn't mean any intentions. I mean, the nickname just stuck. Happened by coincidence. I mean, just every Patriot player you touch, I think they just crumble. So talk about the Patriot Killer. Where did that happen? I think it happened in 2008 when it first started. That's just
man,
on top of my head.
So I think over time, it first started in 2007, where glasses fogging up. It started in 2007 when I, hurt Brady.
Yep.
Wasn't on purpose. For all the people out there that blame me for that, everybody will say I'm dirty.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, there was no flag that was thrown. There was nothing dirty about that hit. I was cut. I went to go after Brady. I ended up hitting his knee. So I think it was with that. And then now we go to, I think it was 2009 where I think it was 2009 where I hurt, where I hit Gronkowski, hurt him.
Yeah, hurt
him. And then it was Welker, where I was about to knock the piss out of him. I didn't even connect with him because he was dodging me. And so he tore his ACL trying to dodge me hitting him.
There you go.
Right, so then that happened. And then now, and the craziness with Hernandez, apparently I was the last guy to tackle Hernandez before he was locked up and everything else.
Wow.
And then, of course, the Stephen Ridley hit. So yeah, that Joker was asleep before he hit the ground, man. So so for me, so for so many people, they say things. They say, the Patriot Killer, whatever. What I mean? Like I laugh at stuff like that. I won't ever, people try to get me to sign it, sign that name, or whatever, and I won't ever do it because, I play. Look. I play this game looking to hurt you. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Definitely.
I play this game looking to hurt you because I don't know what defense is other than defending something, right?
Definitely.
So I got to defend every blade of grass behind me. I defend my home turf and I defend my teammates. Definitely. So I gotta do something. I don't play this game soft. So me being a soft player, and I'm gonna knock the piss out of you.
There you go.
And I'm gonna talk my trash. At the end of the game, when we're dressed or whatever, I might talk to you. I might not. I wasn't a guy. I didn't exchange jerseys. I didn't stay after to shake hands and talk and giggle or whatever. I left the field. Why? Because I was done doing my business. Now I need to sit down, cool down, take a shower, and and reevaluate everything that just happened.
Gotcha.
So yeah, man. So the names is crazy, but it's all good.
It happens. And again, who was talking about talking trash and this and that? Who was one of the toughest wide receivers that you would go against, or who was a wide receiver that you like to go against, or you look forward into maybe giving a lick or once or twice?
You know what? I tell a lot of people, man, a lot of people, they don't understand Brandon Marshall. A lot of people have just at the tail end of his career, they saw, all the craziness that was happening.
Yeah.
Brandon Marshall, when he was with the Denver Broncos, was one of the best receivers to run a route, to create separation when he got the ball in his hand. Man. He was phenomenal. He was a dude that I look forward to going to because he's probably, him and potentially Andre Johnson was one of those guys where I had to kind of sit and study a little more as far as film on because they were able to do so many different things with the ball, creating, the offense went through Andre Johnson.
Yep,
the offense went through Brandon Marshall when he was with Denver. And I mean, when he was with Denver and then with Miami, I mean, that cat was unreal, man. So I think them two were probably the hardest guys as far as when it comes to, preparing against, when it comes to like talking trash, or I don't think I've ever really met another player that, Brandon Jacobs never really backed down. To me, he was a guy where he was a big 6'4", 250-pound. Him and TJ Duckett was just big trucks running the ball. So they didn't really talk. I didn't really talk trash either to them because I knew I had to hit them and they were coming with that load again. So, there was dudes you had to stay focused and like, I can't step up and hit this. I wasn't hitting their leg because that's like hitting a tree branch. Ooh. So, you gotta hit them up high and hopefully connect on that noggin and knock them suckers out. So that was me. That's how I think. That's how I played.
Okay, that's cool. And again, those wide receivers that you said that you had to do like extra like film on and this and that, and it just probably like elevated your game more, right? It made you more focused, made you more knowledgeable on stuff that you haven't seen. Like you said, they would do stuff, and the offenses ran through Andre Johnson. I mean, he was the go-to guy. I mean, he really was.
I think like you said, like, it's just the focus part of it. For a lot of players play this game and they're not focused. A lot of players play and they want to say this or say that, do this or do that. And you could just see as I watch film, I'm looking like he didn't understand why, because he didn't even see that concept or he didn't even see that formation or whatever it may be. So I think that's the focus part. And that's what helped me, because if I got to talk trash. Because if I don't talk trash, you're not going to get Bernard Pollard. You're not going to get the real BP. So talking trash is there. But, being focused and mentally locked in was a key when you especially when you play those players from the quarterback position. When you play freaking Peyton Manning, you had to lock in.
Definitely. Oof. I mean, was he probably the best quarterback? I mean, quarterback you played against was Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, dude. A lot of people get mad, bro. A lot of people are upset. They're trying to figure out why am I putting Peyton Manning over
Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I understand the rings. I get it, man. But when I talk about players that my record against, my experience against playing, and this is my opinion. This is my experience. Peyton Manning was the tougher matchup, was the tougher competitor than Tom Brady. And a lot of people, I say a lot, Tom Brady he's a system quarterback. And some people say, well, all quarterbacks are system quarterbacks. You got to be careful when you say that. And I don't, we ain't got enough time for me to go into all of that, but, Peyton Manning is the man. He was the man. Gotcha. He called the shots.
I mean, if you think about it, a lot of people are like, oh, Brady's the best. But again, you actually played against. So there's more, obviously, experience. Like, I can't be like, well, Tom Brady's the best. Well, you never went up against him. You've done it. So, like, obviously, I'm going to go with you. And, again, it's your own opinion. So, again, those people that are saying that Tom Brady's the best or this and that, they never were on the field with him. So, it doesn't. Right. But again, man, you had such a stellar career. I mean, playing with Ray Lewis. I mean, how was playing with Ray Lewis? I mean, I would just like to just listen to him talk. Gets me motivated, man. That's all I need.
And you know what? It's crazy. And Ray is exceptional. And I just said this. I think it was last week, if I'm not mistaken. Ray Lewis is awesome. Ray Lewis is that dude. Like, he was a true leader, a powerful player, an example, a spark, obviously a legend in Baltimore, a legend in this league. But I tell people a lot, man, when you look at, I think in 1997, that's when the Ravens start to make that leap, when they found out the defensive scheme that solidified and made them who they were. Mm-hmm. When I look at Ray Lewis, when I look at that team, everybody screams Ray, and rightfully so, right? Mm-hmm. But when I look at that team, it was so many guys that just fit well. And I think this is where Ozzie Newsome did an awesome job, bringing in the Haloti Ngata's, the Jared Johnsons, the Terrell Suggs, the Ed Reeds, freaking A, dude, you can go down the list.
Yeah, they had
the Reddings, the Paul Krugers. Those dudes were freaking awesome. and they just gelled well with Ray. And obviously Ray was that Mike. He was the Mike backer. He was that guy that kept everything together. And I mean, his smarts and his instincts and his understanding of the game was just awesome, man. And it was a blessing for me to be able to encounter that and play with that and go to battle with that, because that helped me in my career.
Exactly.
You know, when I came to Tennessee, you know, the guys bucked the system a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's just like, that's what separates, you know, a winning franchise from a franchise that, you know, really only knows losing.
Yep. Again, Super Bowl champion. I mean, now you're helping people out, you know, as trainer and your foundation. I mean, I'm glad everything worked out for you, man. Nothing but respect, brother.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for having me. Thank you, bro.
Hey, man, thank you so much, bro. And have a good one, all right?
You as well.